Vineyard. And hello, Kimberly. Nice to have you with
Hello.
us.
Hi, honey. Long time no see.
Yeah.
Hi. I know.
And just curious, so what are you doing to keep the boys preoccupied at this moment if you're both here with me?
They are watching
SpongeBob SquarePants.
in their bedroom. So you may still see a kid in his undies popping on the screen behind me, but it might be behind Kim this week. So it's a wild card aspect of the show.
Last week was so funny because we had a impromptu visitor when Reed showed up, and he was in his underwear dancing on the bed. But what was even funnier was all of a sudden you see him being dragged off, and you can't see who's dragging him off, but he's being dragged off the bed, and he's kind of fighting on the way out. I'm sure that was you dragging him off, but it was very funny, the whole thing to watch.
Of course it was me.
Yeah, good job. So we got a big kick out of that. And enjoyed having him with us. So welcome, those of you that are hanging out with us today. And we're happy to be here for another episode. If you hadn't noticed, my daughter-in-law is on with us, Kimberly Laws, and we're excited to have her as our guest today. And we'll be asking her some questions in a moment. But we'll do our normal warm-up stuff. Good job with your coffee mug there, Douglas.
Thank you.
So we always like to mention, the things that we're doing. We did our school supply drive on last Saturday, went great, and it was great to be a part of that. And so thank you, everybody, for helping us make that happen. We're going to do our next drive-through giveaway Labor Day weekend on the Saturday, and we're working on a meal kit that we're going to give away. I'm working with Chef Matt. We haven't finalized it yet. But we have some time to do that because it's a month away. But
I'm still pushing for baby back ribs.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. So there you go. But it'll be delicious. I'm leaning towards chicken, but you never know what Chef Matt comes up with. I would have liked to do hamburgers and everything, but the price of ground beef went up in this COVID season. It's like doubled. Because when we first started doing all of our whole Hello Vineyard meal kits, I was buying ground beef for several of those meals, but then the prices skyrocketed. We should have bought some stock in ground beef, I guess, but we didn't.
What company would you invest in for ground beef?
I don't know.
Farmers of America.
I don't know.
Aren't they all just subsidies anyway? Like,
somebody. It must be a company somewhere. We'd have to Google it, but I don't want to go do that right now. Anyway, that's off track. And also, so don't forget the Keys Vineyard app. We're trying to get everybody on the app. It just makes everything much easier. It's all in one spot, and you just hit buttons and off you go. So you can get that wherever you get apps for your personal device, and it's free. So get that loaded up and check it out. And it just makes things very simple. And I also wanted to invite you again to the new Vine Press Zoom that I'm doing on Tuesday. It's not new anymore. I've been doing it a month. The most Tuesdays at 2, I get on and I answer questions about the previous sermon that people have sent to me. So as we've been saying, tonight I'll give you a little sort of taste of what's coming this coming weekend. Then you can watch it on the weekend. And then if you have any questions, you can send it to me on Tuesday. I'll try and answer those questions. It goes a little deeper, and I think it makes it a lot of fun to sort of press in a little further. My hope is that we get all that we can out of this time together and, studying together and moving forward. And, I also take my messages and make them courses on my online Bible Institute. So if you're already watching the messages anyway, and you want to start getting credit and for them as courses, you can go become a student, and you do the work for the course. And the only extra really is, other than listening to it, is you have to answer a question that I know that you've listened to it, and you got to write a little paper at the end. So, but they're long enough that then there's enough work involved listening to everything that they can count as a course. So I plugged a lot of things in, but that's Vine Press. And if you have any questions, just look for Vine Press questions on the websites and click that and send me a question, and I will answer it for you. And so there you go. All right, that's enough about me. And we've got quite a few people on now. So now we're going to let Kimberly do some talking.
Yay.
And yeah. And so Kimberly, let's tell them, how long have you been coming to the Vineyard? And then we got you involved pretty quickly on worship teams, initially with your brothers, but now all the time. And now you work there as well, doing all sorts of things. So why don't you give us a rundown on those things to get started?
Well, I've been involved with the worship team for 9 years, maybe, on and off. And I do that full time now, but it wasn't full time at first, of course. And I believe we were trying to figure out because like none of us can remember. But I think I've been working in the office with Georgina under Georgina for about 3 years.
All right. And what do you do there? What do you do with Pastor Georgina?
Well, I used to print the bulletins, but I don't do that anymore.
That used to be a very time-consuming job. We'd have 400 or 500
was.
bulletins every week, and I was always fixing printers, like hot off the presses.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I also I do a lot of the Sunday school prep work stuff for Georgina. So she tells me what she wants, and I get all the crafts and supplies ready and lay out the Sunday school classrooms, and then put that
Good.
stuff away, and then get out the next stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't think people realize the amount of time and energy that goes into our Sunday school preparation for the kids, and how, because kids are so important to us. And so for years now, we've invested in so much, good curriculum and crafts and everything that it takes and all of the work to get that ready. And we really try and set it up so that when our volunteers come, it's not on them. They just kind of got to be there and love the kids, and everything else is already taken care of. Crafts and game, everything's
Mhm.
thought out, all the activities. But it takes a lot of work, and so Kim's been doing that part of it now. Georgina oversees it, but Kim does the legwork, and you've been doing that for the last several years. And one of the things I'm glad about here lately is we're starting to see some more kids coming
Yes.
back.
Hallelujah.
Not
Yeah.
not like they were, but they're slowly, we're starting to see more kids, and we love having our kids here. We're making them safe as we can everywhere, and the kids workers are wearing masks, and the older kids keep masks on where we can. Younger kids aren't, but we keep them as part as we can, and hands washed. And the reality is, I know this is different in different parts of the country, but in our sort of county, the daycares have stayed open this whole time. And there hasn't been, praise God, any major
Spike.
problems with the
Yeah.
kids. So so they seem to be doing pretty well with this whole thing. So, but I was thinking this last weekend, watching the kids, I was like, oh, there's kids. I'm so happy to have some kids coming back, and what a
Yeah, it
big
was
deal that
awesome.
is.
I walked through the sanctuary, and someone opened the door, and I could hear the buzz in the hallway of like kids' voices and stuff, and I was like, oh, it's such a good sound.
Yeah. Yeah, and then we'll be ready for when they come back, and hopefully they'll come back in droves, and get it all popping again. But yeah, it's just one of those crazy times. So this is your opportunity to tell funny Doug stories, or Doug and Kim stories. So you got anything you want to tell us about?
Well, I don't want to embarrass Doug.
No, I don't want you to embarrass Doug either.
Oh, try to.
Well, I mean, I could tell everybody how we ended up over at the church because that involves Doug.
There you go.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah.
But yeah, my family was, well, if anyone doesn't know, my family is a family of musicians. So we were playing music in the middle and upper keys. And we kept looking for a church while we were down here. And people who didn't go to the Vineyard kept telling us, oh, you should try the Vineyard. It's the hippie rock and roll church. We were like, that's super weird. We're not going there. And people kept telling us that for like 2 or 3 years.
Hippie rock and
And then
roll.
finally one day, yeah, and we're like, we're not doing that. And
I'm
then one
such a
day we
hippie.
finally went in, and yeah, totally. We went in and we were like, oh, this place is awesome. And then I married one of the pastors. 'Cause
That's
it
the
was weird, and we weren't doing that.
summarized versions. We actually, I think a few weeks ago, we were on YouTube. One of Kim's brothers, Kurt, works with us, and we were going on YouTube and we found a video of us when her
Oh,
brothers were still real
yeah.
young and they were like 100 pounds lighter. And we did a set and the stage is, dated. And it was awesome. But if you go, like, I'm trying to find the video we found.
Kurt
I
probably
think
has it
it's
hidden
probably
somewhere.
on Kurt's.
Or did your sister put it up?
There's one video, but I don't think that's the right video. But it is us where we're doing
It's like an Easter thing.
yeah. So there's some classic videos
But
on
yeah,
the YouTube if you're
everyone's so
willing to
little.
look.
Well, your brothers were so skinny. I remember that one of the stories was that they had to buy girl pants.
Yep.
because they were that tiny when they were getting dressed.
They were very
Yeah,
tiny.
that was it. Yeah, it was good. But I have, your family for years lived real close to the church, and I always got a big kick of, they would all walk over at different times for breakfast, and we get the whole clan there eventually showing up. And it was when you guys first started coming, we had quite a few people coming, but I'm always happy when people come to take up whole rows. It's
yeah.
that's a good thing. Oh, look at that. That's a whole
Yeah.
row that gets taken up.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
like if anyone's watching who doesn't know, I have 9 brothers plus my parents, plus there's always like add-ons who are always kind of living with us and stuff. So there was only ever room for our whole family to sit together in the front couple rows. So my family has always been a front 2-row family.
That's right. That's good. Yeah, they had to find when we changed everything up. They had to change it, but I still noticed them in second row. Yeah.
Yep.
Even recently. Well, that's good. Yeah, I remember when we met you guys, and that was fun to watch that whole process of having you guys start to get involved, and then a bunch of your brothers went through a sort of a mentoring class that I did, and I met with them every week for 2 years, and they went through. They did 2 years on my online Bible Institute with me. During that time, I helped them make sure they stayed on track, and they got associate's degrees, and they gave them responsibilities for youth, and they started. They in effect with them, we started One More Youth. That's when we started doing it and had those big events that got that all sort of moving at one point in time. It's cool. That kind of history is fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they left, you stayed, and we got the best deal going. But they keep slowly coming back. Yeah.
They do. They trickle back.
Yeah.
We got
Yeah.
Kurt's back now.
Kurt's back.
So Kim right now is in her workspace. I got a corner of the bedroom, and she has a sewing room where you do all sorts of crafts, and that's one of your big things.
That's the biggest
honey.
corner of the bedroom.
That there's 4 corners. They're all about. Okay, fair enough. But a big part of Kim's life, would you say, is doing, the textiles and stuff. So could you tell everybody, because you did that for a bit too, in your work life. You had 2 jobs at one point where you were.
I did. I was for 4 years. I ran my own business weaving custom baby wraps, which like if you see people like who have their babies like strapped onto them with fabric, I wove those, and I did that 6 days a week, all day long, when the kids were babies. And now, I got super burnt out, and I didn't look at the loom for like a year after that. It was like I loved it, and then I did it too much, and it wasn't fun anymore. And then I had to take a break. But now I still do a lot of sewing, and I sew clothes and quilts and all sorts of things.
Do you want to show everybody one of your quilts? Do you have one easily accessible?
You want me to move the iPad?
Well, no, don't move the iPad. Just grab the quilt and bring it over. Yeah, that would be safer. Yeah. There's one. Okay. Well, that's not one you really want to. Yeah, you don't. That one. How long ago did you make that one that's on the chair right now?
I don't know, 15 years ago.
Okay, yeah. So show one of the cool newer ones you've been doing.
All right, this one's almost done. This one's was nice. I hand stitched the designs and then I dyed the designs in. So.
Wow. That's
And
cool.
now, is that the one that you did the tie-dyeing technique on that?
I did some dyeing
Y-
techniques on it.
Yeah, well, I don't know what it's all
Do you
called.
mean the bright colored ones? What do you mean?
Well, no,
The
that one
bright colored one?
you did a dyeing thing with it too. I remember ice buckets and powder,
Do you
however
want me
you
to
do
get
it.
it out?
Well, no, that's not the one that you dyed. Okay,
I
see,
dyed
that's
that one. I dyed this one
okay. I
too.
knew you dyed it. Yes.
Okay. I dyed lots of things. And also that makes a lot of confusion because mom and I will be like, "Oh, we're downstairs dyeing."
Yeah. Oh, I'm
Yeah.
just dying downstairs. Like what?
Yeah. Well,
There,
that's very nice
I
too.
dyed
Look
most
at
of the
that.
fabric for this one.
Cool.
But yeah.
Look at that. Well, that's good. That's good. I am not very crafty myself.
Dad and I can draw stick figures.
Again. Yeah, it's not where my thing goes. But that's good. And it's nice that you have a setup where you can do that. And over at the church, there's a room where you have a couple of looms set up
Yes,
where you can.
where we can look at the looms again. We're
Yeah.
not sick of them anymore.
And no, well, that's good. That's good. I'm excited for you, and the things that are happening. So, what else? Anything cool happening right now in your life?
I'm excited to start homeschooling. I've always wanted to homeschool. I was homeschooled, but it didn't work out first couple of years that Stevie was in school. But now is a good time to switch.
Yeah. Well, that's good. That's good. So that starts here soon, then, right?
I believe a week and a half, maybe a week. Soon.
Alice and I homeschooled Doug and Sarah for a little while. We weren't very good at it, but
No.
fortunate. That's not. It's not everybody's
I've
thing.
heard some stories.
Yeah, we weren't good, but fortunately, we had a school at the church for years that we ran, and then we closed it in the summer of 2002. It was just difficult to, just lots and lots of reasons, but it was good while we
Yeah.
had it. But Douglas had finished 6th grade, and Sarah had finished 8th grade, I think, and then we started doing homeschooling, and it was just difficult. But fortunately, they had a really good, solid foundation.
Oh boy. So sometimes we get a network drop. There we go. What's been happening
There we go.
more frequently?
All
I
right.
actually want to put this on the screen. This is a shot of the school when we had it. I might have been
Oh, wow.
4th or 5th grade. And you can kind of see me. I'm behind two little
I
girls
see you.
near the middle. You can just see the top of my head.
I see your little red curls
Yep.
Oh, I see you back there on the
Yep.
right. Look at
in
that.
front of the boy
That's
in the
so
dark red
funny.
T-shirt.
And in the back left, that's David Dupree.
That's Yep, I see David
Oh,
Dupree.
you're right.
Yeah, yeah. That's so funny. I'm looking for
Jared's
your
in
sister.
there. You can see Jared, and he's still apart. I see Sarah. She's
There's
behind.
Marilyn is
I believe
there.
that's Eric Rowe there, and Miss V. I can see Miss V Hardy in there. So that's what the school looked like back in the day. That
Yeah.
is a throwback for the Hello Vineyard.
So anyway,
the nice
before
thing
it
about
froze,
homeschool, yeah. The nice thing about
Go ahead.
homeschool is that it can be so different for everybody. So it can be as much or as little as you want to put into it.
the rest of my story, at some point with my kids, I realized that they had plenty of smarts because they tested really well, and we just kept them going. And then at 16, both of them, I stuck them in community college. The moment they turned 16, boom, community college for you. And then anything that they might have been a little behind on, they caught right up in community college. And then from there, we had opportunities to open up at St. Leo's. So both of them had their bachelor's degrees by the time they were 21, 22.
Yeah.
So it worked out. It worked out for us, that plan.
We were doing online classes for my bachelor's, and I actually had to take a class or two with me on my honeymoon. That was a lot of fun.
I remember that.
It was quantitative analysis, and I've used that 0 times in my career in ministry.
I remember like driving to the airport on the way home and like stopping at a cafe that had internet, like Wi-Fi, and we're like sitting in there like, please just upload the answers. And we were waiting for it to send.
Because we were trying to be finished by the time you got married. Was that the deal?
Well, I wanted to get married more than I cared about my college education at the time, but
Yeah.
so we just
I think
we had picked out a day, and I was going to be done. I finished that year that month. Like I was right at the end, so I only had those last 2 classes, and once they were done, kind of deal. And yeah, just like we were trying to get Pastor Kevin from Miami to do the wedding. He said, "Okay, I can do this day," and then it ended up not working out, and Pastor Fran performed our ceremony. But that's why it was August 10th, 2012. So our anniversary is Monday, our 8th year
Wow,
wedding anniversary. So
that's cool. Cool. Your mom and I have ours is on the 21st
This month.
and this month, and we'll be 38 years. Yeah, 38 years.
wow.
So we got a 30-year jump on you.
Well, and you're 30 years older than me too.
I'm
So
30 years older than you. So yeah, we keep on pressing along. It's good. It's
so
good.
we must have gotten married at the same age. That's interesting. That doesn't always happen.
No, I was 22. How old were you when you got married?
I was 22.
Oh, there you go.
Well, I was 21, about to turn 22. I was a couple months away from 22. So yeah, we were same age.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
I was 22.
Yeah, there you go.
Now we are not.
No, now you have 2 kids. All is well. So that's very good. All right, Kim. So you got that? You're looking forward to homeschooling, and then the last question we had here is what are you looking forward to coming up besides homeschooling? Because you already said that. That's something cool happening. But anything on the horizon that you're excited about?
I'm just excited to have people around again.
Yeah, I hear
Just
you.
community, you know. I'm excited to rebuild community
Yeah,
and relationships.
that's good. Yeah, and good. We just finished on our staff. We just did a class that we did for a year, School of Kingdom Ministry, and Kim was involved in that. And we all just finished that last week, and that was a great class, and it was kind of fun to do that over the last year. And I think we all learned a lot. So, as a staff, we're continuing to press in and learn and grow. Kim's also in another little group I have right now of where I'm sort of working with a small group that has a heart for ministry, and she's involved in that with me. So that's good. We press deeper into things and ask questions and do those things. And I try and show them some good videos and stuff. They get to see a lot of like N.T. Wright lately. He's one of my favorite theologians. So they've
It's
been
fun to
watching those
listen to.
videos.
I love listening to him.
Yeah, he's English, so he's good to listen to, and he's really brilliant. Well, there's a good question coming in. Do your kids play any instruments?
Not yet.
They
think they do.
They want to. They have a little toy guitar and a little toy violin, and we had a
They both
toy.
have rhythm.
We both had we had an electronic drum set for them for a while. That went away in the storm though, and like when they had it, he was a little too young. But I was so hyped to get Stevie on the drums because when he was a baby and young toddler, he always had drumsticks. That was like his
Yes,
thing.
his security blankie was a drumstick.
A set of drumsticks, and he had a binky.
set of
And
drumsticks.
his first school teacher was like, he can't bring the drumsticks with him to class, right? Yeah, we know, we won't, because they're basically weapons. We know, no drumsticks for
He
him.
never hit anybody.
But he'd always knock the drum set over, and
Yeah.
with our kids, I'd say it's kind of they're expected to play when they get a little older. They certainly have it in their family background, so we're not pressuring them to, but we're both hopeful they'd play what you say, honey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we want them to
Yeah.
want to. So
I
we don't
think, you know,
push.
when they see you playing, you know, that models something for them. I mean, with Douglas, I would play guitar around the house. Not that I was any good, but I would play guitar around the house, and he always had a little guitar, and that, you know, he used to come and he'd sit and he used to bang his guitar into mine. That was one of the things he would do, smack it
So
into mine,
frustrating.
and I'd be like, stop doing that, but he had to do it. And I always kind of tease now. I'm going to grab a guitar and go bang one of his and see how he feels. How do you like that?
We used
Not
to
so
let the
cute
kids up
now.
on the stage with us on the platform because we wanted them to just be comfortable and like to know that they were welcome there. But then, as you know, other children started following them up, and then it became a problem. So we had to.
Yeah, yeah.
Here's another one. Any more babies for us? Our answer is no. We're
He didn't
I do
even let
not
Kim
have
answer.
baby fever.
No.
I do not have baby fever. I like other
Yeah.
people's babies, but I wasn't one of those people who was like, I feel great when I'm pregnant. Woohoo! No.
Oh, well, we don't like. I couldn't remember the last time I changed a diaper, and I love it. Like, so,
You know, when we were having kids, so, and you actually had your kids a little younger than we did. I think I was 27 when we had Sarah, and I was 30 when I had you, and and your mother's 2 years younger than me, so 28. She would have been 28 when she had you, and then we were pretty happy. You know, we had two, and we were going on, and she'd always said, you know, I want another, maybe when I'm 35. She said, and I was good with two, but okay, and. When she turned 35, we went out and got a dog, and that was good. We were good. It worked out very well. So that was a good time.
I always thought I would have lots of kids, but yeah, after being pregnant a couple times, I was like, yeah, not my thing.
Yeah, two's good. No, it's all good. Whatever you get, it's good stuff.
Yeah.
And they're
Doug's
good. They're
heir
good
and Doug's
kids.
spare.
Yeah, that's funny. You know, I remember when you're talking about Stevie on the drums, I remember one time he wanted to get a drumstick, and I was watching him from the back of the sanctuary, and he was young, and he was trying to figure out how to get to the top of the drum cage, and he was starting to drag pieces of things over so he could build a platform to get up there. And I watched it until, you know, he was actually going to follow through and get it, and then I went in and stopped it. But I was so impressed how he had reasoned out how he needed this piece, and then he was going to get this, and he had that up on there already, and he was just a little guy.
yeah, he
But
was
he
only
knew where the
like
drumstick were.
he was 2 or 3, and you know he was still nonverbal, so you know he's just building it. But he still loves building
Do
stuff.
something.
Our eldest son Stevie is a Lego building machine. Any Lego set, he builds it. That's what he does, and it's like we got the Rexcelsior a few weeks ago. It's this ridiculous, overwhelming box, and he built it in a day and a half. And like, Stevie, do something else, you know, like just laser
I had to like
focus.
stop him and force him to drink water.
Yeah.
He'd be like, I'm working. And I'm like, no, you've been doing this for 14 hours and you have to hydrate.
That's hilarious. Well, it's good he's got something that he's that passionate about in life. Okay, so let's see. Little introduction to the message this week. Let me do that. So I'm talking. You know, our series is an unshakable foundation, and I said I was going to dig back into John chapter 1 this week, and particularly verse 14, where the Word became flesh and made His dwelling among us, and you know, dig into what's going on in there. And it's such a powerful passage, you know, because it drags in Genesis, you know, that John chapter 1, in the beginning was the Word, and then the idea of tabernacle is dragging in Exodus. And then, you know, one of the things I'm going to talk about how is when it talks about the glory of the one and only, it's dragging in that 2 Samuel stuff that we looked at, and then when we talk about the Word in there, the Word became flesh. The idea of Word is in Isaiah, in chapters 40 and chapter 55. We're going to dig, and what John is actually doing is he's focusing the Old Testament scriptures onto Jesus, which is so powerful, and it begins to change everything when you see that and what that looks like. And so I actually think, that verse, John 1, 14, is kind of the lens that you look at the entire story through. And so you sort of focus that the Word who was with God in the beginning comes in the flesh, and then he reveals the glory of God in the earth. And that when you have that understanding, it really begins to open up the Scripture to you. And you begin to see Jesus everywhere then. I've been talking about that for a long time. Always be looking for Jesus. But when you get this whole story together, you'll just see him start popping into things. And then I'm going to talk about that one point that I'm really excited about that I'm not going to give away today, but just something that Paul does, and we'll be spending some time in that. I hope everybody enjoys it as much as I do. And then I've been, now that I've been on it for a week and a half, 2 weeks, I'm thinking, well, maybe nobody else will think he's as cool as I do, but it's pretty cool. And we'll see how it goes.
If you want even more sneak peek into this week's message, you can actually go to vineyardbulletin.com and you can see the bulletin for the week. It's it's there now. Unshakable Foundation. So you can see the points and get ready that way too.
Yeah, you can get all the scriptures
Read the
there.
Scripture ahead of time.
I would love it if more people would do that, but I understand how busy everybody is. And so there's a passage we're going to look in Isaiah chapter 40, verses 6 through 11, Isaiah 55, 10 through 11, and then 12 and 13, and we're going to make these tie-ins that I just think are really cool. And then there's more stuff next week. So it's a great story, his story, and I love how it ties together, and I love having all these things to talk about. So that's what we'll be heading into, but that's a lot of reading. But at least try and read John 1 through 14, and we're gonna deep dive into that this week. So that's the plan for that. And let's see what else we got. How about our worship set? What do you two got going worship-wise? Kimmy, what are you singing this week?
I don't remember.
Oh,
I just do what he tells me.
you got the planning center invite. We have an app. We have. All right.
I know,
Well,
but I looked it up. I don't. Oh, it's the. Where can I go for your presence?
Yeah,
You meet me here.
there you go. You did it. So that's the third song on our set. We're starting with "Here for You," the Matt Redman song, and then we're gonna try a new one this week called "Awake My Soul" by Hillsong. It's a great song. After that, Kim's going to do "You Meet Me Here." Have you heard "Awake My Soul" yet, Dad?
I don't know.
You should go look it up. If you haven't heard it, look it up. And then
It's great.
it's a great song.
McKay's going to do great.
Yeah.
Up tempo.
Up tempo. It's there's actually a version that they do with Tasha Cobb's Leonard. She's featured on it, and she did an arrangement of "Break Every Chain," and she's got a lot of cool songs out. So you know that was a great version. And then we're ending the set with "The Blessing" this week, because who doesn't like "The Blessing"? So
I love The Blessing. I always go. The first time that we did The Blessing live, there was nobody in church.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that was like the first of these songs that came out when we were in lockdown.
Yeah, and I remember when we did it, I was like, "Oh, people were gonna love this song," and so it's a great song. Really cool. All right, we got any other questions on there?
Let's see. There's a few.
Somebody asked if we have 2 kids, and the answer is yes.
Yes. We
We
call
have
them.
Stevie, who's
He's going to be 7 next month. We call them the buddies.
I was going to say.
And Reed, our youngest son, is 5, and he's every bit of a 5-year-old.
Yeah, and they're good. They're good boys.
Smart,
They're 2 of my grandkids.
Healthy.
Yeah, they love to swim. They love their mom and dad.
Here, we can bring him in. Hey, boys, come here.
They probably won't listen now that you're calling
Let's see if
them.
they come. One of you, come here. You can hear me in Kim's AirPods. It's funny. I think their door is closed, but
Yeah.
they only like coming in when they're not supposed to be in. That's their strategy.
Yeah, it's a funny strategy. They're very cute. All right, well, I don't see them coming, so that's good. Watch all those things. why don't you thank our sponsors, Doug?
Yeah, so the Hello Vineyard podcast is made possible in part by viewers like you. Still, whenever I have to read these off, that's what it just makes me feel like the PBS, and then I'm just watching Arthur like, oh yeah, great.
And you
No.
know what makes it even funnier is that obviously none of them sponsor anything because there's
Obviously.
nothing to be sponsored. But
And
go ahead.
There's the joke. That's Dad's specialty. Let's explain the punchline. So-
Well, I have to do it all the time because people don't usually get my
well,
punch.
well, now they expect it.
I
When we're
get like 98% of yours, okay?
before the sponsors, Dad and I had the pleasure of doing a baptism for a family. Their daughter wanted to get baptized, and Dad gave the baptism presentation. Still, with just the family, him and me there, says, and I'm going to hold you down based on the amount of sin that we believe is in your life or has been. And then you're going to stay down there until it's all. And then he's like, I have to say that because everyone's expecting it. No one demands that he says it, still says it for his own amusement. I'm like, Dad, these people barely know us. Like, the mom was
to drown them. As we baptize them.
Wait, I had a joke that I won't make it into my sermon list because it's too much on the edge. But I've been watching that show Alone. You know the show I'm talking about? Survival show, and there's bears and everything around. And so my joke was, but I've never hunted bear, but I have been fishing in shorts.
Oh wow. Oh man. And now for a word from our sponsors.
He's still going.
See, the joke is funny because he fishes in shorts, but he's never hunted naked. And bear is another word for naked.
Thanks for dad-splaining that, Doug.
That didn't need to be explained.
That's literally what he does.
Go ahead.
That's what he does. So I was pulling a Steve there. Keys Vineyard Community Church. Look us up. Like us on the Facebook.
Church.
Subscribe to us on YouTube. Join us Saturday nights, 7 o'clock. Sunday mornings, 8, 9:30, and 11. Killer worship. Awesome messages. All sorts of cool stuff in between. We're also sponsored by the Jesus Moment Bible Institute. You can log on to onlinebibleinstitute.org. Sign up for classes. Get your free associates, free bachelor's programs. You get a full ride scholarship on us to do so. We're also sponsored by Keys Vineyard's Church Online platform. It's a great place to watch services. You can access the Bible, see notes, schedule, all that good stuff, chat, go there, do the thing. Also, we are sponsored by the official Keys Vineyard app. Log on to your App Store, Google Play Store, search Keys Vineyard, look for the Grape Guy, download it, check it out. Remember, like the church page on Facebook, we have a little counter. I like seeing the numbers go up. It's always discouraging when it goes down. Some people actually dislike the page to see the numbers go down. I'm like, no, that's wrong. It's supposed to count up, not up more. So those are our sponsors.
There's a comment on here from Betsy that she likes my cat on my shoulder. Yeah, that's Gibson over my shoulder. I built her a place there. It's a big wide shelf on the window, and she spends a lot of her life up there looking out and just checking things has no desire to go out, but loves to watch the things that are going on. And I am watching. I always watch a cat behind me. I tell stories about the cat because the cat's not all that social, and so she shares this room with me. She shares my office. She can go anywhere she wants in the house, but she stays in this room, which is my office. And when I come in the morning, she wants attention, but only for about 2 minutes. And if I quit paying, if I keep, giving her attention and then start doing other things, and I'm not paying careful attention, she'll bite me when she's had enough.
Oh yeah,
And so
she was my old cat, and then when we got married, I didn't take the cat with me, so the parents adopted her. And yeah, you just pet her, she's all chill, and then I'm like, okay.
I call her my rescue kitty.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
Cool.
I think we've done it all.
Hey, thanks
And,
for being on the show, honey. It was great having you. You
welcome.
are the favorite guest that I've had on the show, so you're my favorite.
You kind of have to say that, don't you?
Well, I don't have to, but I want to. So
It makes sense considering she's like right next to the store there in the road. So yeah, I would definitely go with that.
yeah, that's
Yeah. All right. Well, that was fun, guys. Thanks for everything. And let's say goodbye, Vineyard.
Goodbye, Vineyard.